Hello, parents. Welcome to the Masterful Parenting Podcast. I'm Ann Alvarez, parent coach, school counselor, and mother of two. Do you sometimes struggle with your parenting role? Do you notice that sometimes you're repeating patterns that you learned in your own childhood? Maybe you are carrying childhood pain that has not been healed, and you notice that it is showing up in your parenting with your own children. Perhaps you yell or get frustrated easily. Maybe you are directing them or telling them what to do all the time, and you notice that your actions are affecting your relationship with your children. Well, parents, I totally understand this. I came from childhood pain and I learned how to be a relational parent with my children. And I can teach this to you as well. This podcast is all about learning how to heal the childhood pain that we are carrying so that we can foster healthy relationships with our kids. Join us every week for a new show, and we will dive into the healing and the fostering of healthy relationships with our children. Hello, parents. Welcome to the Masterful Parenting podcast and YouTube channel. I'm super excited today because I have a special guest. A small town girl from Oklahoma, Vivian Cumins, is the author of Breakdown Better 52 Restoring Devotionals for Burned Out Women, a speaker, a host of the Juggling Life Finding Balance podcast. She's a retired career professional with over 26 years of service in the U.S. Air Force and Forest Service. Vivian draws from a wealth of experience and a heart for helping others find peace amidst life's demands. Welcome, Vivian.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to meet you and be here today.
Oh, I'm so excited because we're going to be able to help women with burnout. I think like so many mothers understand burnout
Hmm.
because parenting is so challenging, right? And
Yes,
uh, and this show is going to help them. Okay,
I hope so.
what inspired you to write Break Down Better 52 Restoring Devotionals for Burned Out Women? And what does it mean to break down better?
Oh, that's such a great question. So, it came from my own journey of burnout and breakdown. Unfortunately, I'd had numerous breakdowns in my adult life, and I think I actually had some in my childhood as well, looking back. But I've always been striving for perfection. I say I'm a recovering perfectionist because I think it's something that I have to work on intentionally every day of my life. But there was a time in 2020 when I just had such a severe breakdown that was brought on by burnout. I was working a tremendous amount of hours. I was trying to get promoted. I was volunteering at my church. I was leading praise and worship. I just had 1,000 things going. And I just I just started feeling very sick physically and mentally and spiritually. And one day I just collapsed on my living room floor and just sobbed. And I did not want to end my life, but I was asking God to do it for me. Just take me home because you can't live this way. And so that's kind of what started my journey. From there, at that very moment on the floor, God really spoke to my spirit and said, "Just hold on. I'm going to restore you." And I felt those words so strongly in my spirit that I said, "Okay, I'm all in. I'm going to trust you. I don't know how to trust you, but I'm going to surrender this because I don't have any other choice. I'm so broken at this point." And I said, "I'm all in." And when I said I was all in, I meant it, but I don't think I understood everything that was going to happen. So I went through a wilderness season that started pretty much immediately after that surrender. And I was diagnosed with melanoma, stage 3 melanoma at that point. And then just a lot of things happened in that season. And but I kept thinking to myself, I said I was all in. So whatever God has to do in me to change me, to show me what brought me to this place in the first place, I'm here for it. And so that's kind of what inspired. So from 2020 up until present day, which now the book is finally out, um, I've just been on a journey where God has showed me what has caused the burnout. We've done a lot of soul searching together, and he's taught me a lot. And I wanted to put that in a book because I was seeing so many other women around me unraveling the same way that I was. So I was on, a lot of group chats and speaking with women and stuff, and they were going through the same things that I was. Their situation may have been a little bit different, but we were all breaking down. And so I just felt very strongly that God said, use what I taught you, teach it to others, because a lot of women need this message. And then to your second question, what does breakdown better mean? Obviously, it's a play on words, because what God has showed me is that we're in a broken world, and there's going to be stress, and there's going to be things happen. It's not going to be perfect,
Mhm.
but He can show us how to live through the chaos and how to recognize when we go into extremes and when we start to get out of balance. And, that way, when things do happen, when things kind of shift a little bit and we find ourselves in those situations that once, led us to a breakdown, we're able to take a step back, reassess, recalibrate with God's help, and continue to move forward. And so that's kind of where the notion of breakdown better comes from.
Okay, okay. And so you said burnout has been called like the silent epidemic, right? So in your opinion,
Mhm.
what is fueling it most in
Yeah.
women's lives today?
Yeah, I mean that silence. As women, we tend to suffer in silence a lot, I think. And I can tell you from experience, I did, because especially, I mean, you read in the bio, I was a career professional. I've since retired. I've recently
Mhm.
retired, but I was climbing the ladder, and women who are in careers that are trying to get promoted or what have you. I mean, it's very difficult, and you're up against a lot of things that maybe others aren't battling. And so you have to put on this strong front all the time, and we don't want to show weakness a lot. And so for me, that's kind of where I was just doing, I just kept doing over and over and over, and doing for everybody else, doing for my career, doing for my family, my friends, my church, doing for everybody, but not myself. And so it just silently, my soul just really started to suffer, as well as my health and mental capacity as well. And so, and then there comes that time where you have to say something, because then, you're on the floor having a breakdown. So,
I feel like a lot of women can relate to what you're saying because like if you're a high achiever, a
hmm
lot of times it's because you didn't feel like you were enough. You were never enough,
right,
right? As a
right.
child, I know for me personally, that was my story. Like
hmm
I've always been learning and trying to improve myself throughout
hmm
my whole life and
hmm
pushing myself, right?
right.
And saying I can do it all. I can take care of everybody. I can pursue post-secondary education. I can go back to school while I have a family. I
Right.
can do it all.
hmm
Meanwhile, I really can't
That's
because
right.
something is giving, and it's usually the mom. It's usually
It
the
is.
the woman
hmm
who has this never enough
hmm
mentality, right? And I think I can so relate to that because if you grew up thinking you were never enough, you keep chasing being enough as an adult,
Right.
right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and it's funny, the earliest memory that I have of not being enough, or needing to be perfect, was when I was 5. And in kindergarten, I don't know if you all did this in your school, but we used to take naps back in the day. And we had little mats, and I recall me fanning my mat over and over because it would never lie straight, and I needed it to be straight. And I got in trouble. My teacher yelled at me and said if I did it one more time, I was going to get a spanking. And I remember, I mean, that just broke my heart, because number one, she made me accept mediocrity. And for me, that wasn't an option.
Mhm.
But I've since I've kind of done this journey with God, kind of learned where that perfectionism kind of stems from.
Mhm.
And it does come from my home life growing up.
Yes,
My dad,
yes.
to this day, he's still a perfectionist, and I tease him about it now, and I'm like, Dad, but I see it in in myself. But I mean, it was always just having to have everything perfect because he needed it perfect.
Yes,
Right. And then when I didn't have it perfect, I wasn't enough and I
yes.
wasn't, meeting standard. And so that just carried with me through all my childhood. And then in like junior high school, when your looks are so important,
Mhm.
I mean, I started having all these weird things about my hair. Like, if my hair wouldn't fix right, I would have such a panic attack that my mom would keep me home from school because I would make myself so sick, from the anxiety of not having my hair perfect. And then,
Wow.
you just go into different things. You marry somebody, and try to be perfect for that, and that didn't work out. I mean, it just was just
Yeah,
constant trying to be
it's
perfect.
right.
But I think I'm pretty much restored from that now, so praise God.
Yeah, I feel like that the breakdown could actually be a blessing,
Absolutely. Yes.
right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Because
Yeah,
now
and
you have to stop. Now you have to
yes.
stop and you have to reassess, like you said, or recalibrate,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because
Yes.
you can't continue to live that way.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And I call it my breakthrough,
Yes,
and it absolutely was my breakthrough. And we can get there. It takes
yes,
time, but we can all get there.
absolutely. Oh, love that. So, what are the three principles that you say that are necessary to living a balanced life?
So for me, it was very simple. You know, I felt like God was just so kind in helping me through this season because He made it very simple. Do these three things. Keep me first in everything. Every decision you make, in the first thing in the morning, spend time with me. I will direct your path. I will give you your priorities for the day. You don't have to worry about it. Just
Yeah.
put me first. The second thing is self-care. Take care of yourself. You're no good for kingdom building, your family, any of that if you are run yourself into the ground. And
Mhm.
so the self-care piece in my book, I talk a lot about it's not just exercising, eating right, drinking water. All those things are wonderful and we need to do those. But it's setting boundaries. It's recognizing when you fall into people pleasing. Little things like finances. I mean, think about that. That one was a big one too, because that brings on added stress that we don't need, And so
Yes.
the self care piece is really important. And the third piece is have fun. God did not intend for us to live stressed out and striving. John 10:10 says he wants us to enjoy our lives. And
Mhm.
so that was a piece that I was not doing at all because I was so busy working, so busy striving, trying to be perfect at everything, that I just wasn't enjoying the life that he had given me. And, going through that cancer journey, I mean, when you go through something very traumatic like that, it really puts things into perspective and you
Mhm.
learn to appreciate things like butterflies and sunsets and family and things like that. And so God first, self-care, fun. It's just as easy as that. But we have to be intentional.
Right, right. I totally agree. I heard a famous singer say once that we are human beings, not human doings.
Yes, you're
And that
so good
spoke
at
to
human
me.
doings.
Yeah, that spoke
Yeah.
to me because I got my worth from doing,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right? And
Yes.
so I was like,
Many of us
okay,
do.
that's a good reframe, you know?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. I love it.
Yes.
Um, so like even if you're not like a God person, you can spend
Mm-hmm.
time in the mornings
Mm-hmm.
to just get centered and
Mm-hmm.
grounded, meditate, right? Show appreciation, feel gratitude,
Yes.
appreciate what you have in your life. Those things, right? Sets the
Mm-hmm.
mood for the whole day, sets the tone
Mm-hmm.
for the whole day. Would
Mm-hmm.
you agree? And then the
I do.
self-care,
I do.
yeah. And the self-care is not selfish. I tell
Oh, it's not.
parents this. Self-care is not selfish. It's actually mandatory.
It's mandatory, and I think it's stewarding well what we've been given, our bodies. It's just stewarding them well.
Yeah.
And again, you can't be there for others if you're not taking care of yourself, and you're in a hospital bed or something. You've got to be able to take care of yourself first.
And how many times did Jesus go to the mountain alone?
Right. Yes.
He modeled that,
He
right?
absolutely
So,
modeled that.
oh my
Yes.
gosh. Oh my gosh. Okay. What are some small practical steps that someone can start today
hmm
to restore balance in their life?
hmm I think the first step is to recognize that you're out of balance, because we get so used to this rhythm that society has kind of set for us that we're just on the go constantly, and our bodies get used to that level of stress. Unfortunately, it's kind of like the boiling frog metaphor. You drop a frog into hot water, he jumps out. But if you place him in lukewarm water and you raise the temperature over time, he ends up acclimating and not realizing that there's danger. And I think a lot of times we do that, is we've acclimated to our environment and we've gotten used to things. So I think a small step is just to say, okay, take a step back and say, I think I might have some balance issues here. What can I do? What Let me evaluate my day. What am I spending my time doing? What is causing me anxiety or stress? Where do I see myself, maybe going into an extreme? I mean, imbalance can be anything, and it can be good things too,
Yes.
right? I had a girlfriend of mine one time. We had this conversation about, she's such a great mother, but her husband was like, hello, and so she wasn't spending a lot of time with her husband because she was spending all of her time with her children. And that's an imbalance. And so maybe just taking an inventory of your day, and finding out where there's pockets of maybe some imbalance, and then just take one thing at a time. What is one thing that you can do? Um, I can give you an example for me. I was never taking lunch. Back when I was working full time, I would sit at my desk. I mean, 8, 9 hours would go by, and I mean, I may have gotten up to go potty once or twice, but I never ate lunch. And so that was something that I'm like, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to set an alarm and I'm going to make myself get up and go get lunch. And so it's just those little things, and they add up over time.
100%. There's like, I feel like we don't listen to our bodies
I
a lot of
know.
times. And I'm a
Yeah.
firm believer in listening to your body. I mean, I even
Mhm.
taught my children when they were young. Your body will tell you what you need. If you're thirsty, you'll
Mhm.
drink. If you're hungry, you'll eat. If you're tired, you sleep.
Mhm.
And I'm a believer in napping. So when they were little, I said, "Oh, mommy needs a nap." And then my boys would be like, and I'd say, "You can come lie down with me, or you can watch a show, but mommy needs a nap,
Mommy
right?
needs a nap. Good for
Mommy needs
you.
a nap." And my boys were so like, sometimes I would wake up and they would be like right in my bed with me.
Mhm.
But even to this day, they're older now. They're like 20, 25, and 15. Even to this day, they nap. If they need a
I
nap, they'll
love
be like,
it.
"Mom, I'm gonna have a nap,"
Good, you've modeled that behavior. That's amazing. Good.
which I think is so good,
Yeah, it's so good
because
for our brains.
it's taking care of you.
Mhm.
And you're
Mhm.
modeling that as a parent, you're modeling that for your kids. So
Yes.
they will take care of themselves,
That's
right?
right.
So it's
Good mama.
actually, yes, it's actually
Mhm.
very, very good, parents. Okay. So your tips are basically like start your day with God. This is what you did. Start your day with
Yes.
God. If you're not firm onto God, at least have that meditation time, that time for you. And then adopt self-care, right?
Yes.
And that has to do with boundaries. That has to do with stop the people pleasing, address the needs that you have, and make sure that you're taking care of your needs so that you
Yes.
can take care of other people's. right? Because you're filled
Yes.
up, your cup's full, and have fun in life.
Have
Like,
fun.
what is life if you can't have fun and enjoy it?
I
Yeah.
know. I know. You know, my 2-year-old grandson, we took him to a lavender farm, and I watched him just be in awe at the flowers and the bumblebees. And I just sat there and I watched him and I was like, oh my gosh, to be childlike again,
Yes,
to just, you know
yes,
what I mean? And so that just, I mean, he inspired me to
yeah,
take time and just enjoy it and run through the flowers or whatever, chase the bumblebees, whatever you're going to do. But do something that you
yeah.
enjoy.
Dr. Hansen was on my show a few episodes back, and he talks about the life lessons that toddlers teach us.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
one of them is living in the moment,
Mhm.
like enjoying the moment,
That's
right?
right. It's
So
so
I think
hard as an adult. It
it
is
is,
so hard.
but we
And,
have
and
to
again,
slow down then because that
mhm,
means we're rushing too much.
that's
We're
right.
we're on our to-do list instead of taking in things, right?
That's right.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
true.
So good, so good. Okay, so where can people get the copy of Breakdown Better, 52 Restoring Devotionals for Burned Out Women? Where can they get that?
Oh my gosh, well thank you for that. So it is available for pre-order right now on Amazon, Barnes and Noble, and then anywhere that you get your online books. It's in paperback as well as not audio. I was going to say audio. What's the other one?
Uh, just,
Kindle.
oh
Kindle.
yeah, okay, Kindle,
Oh,
yeah. Okay.
and also too, they can we have another book coming out that's going to be its companion. Hopefully it's going to come out around the same time, which is December 30th. But it's called A Better Way. And so that is going to be a guided journal that will pair up with the devotionals. So if somebody wants to do the devotionals and really dive in deep into maybe why they suffer from burnout in the first place, and just kind of get in deep with God, then they can get the companion journal with it.
I love that. I love that. Okay, and where can parents find you if they need some mamas, if you need some mentoring and some help with
Absolutely.
burnout?
Absolutely. So you can go to my website and it's viviancumins.com. And I've got the blog, I've got my podcast there, I've got other devotionals that are online. Those are free. They go through the YouVersion app so they can grab those. And yeah, just tons of information there. And I would love for folks to connect with me. I always love making new friends. And
Oh,
so please look me up and contact me, and I promise I'll get back with you.
oh, thank you so much, Vivian Cummins, for joining us today. Really, really appreciate you and sharing your story and all your wisdom. Thank you so
Thank you so
much.
much. Thank you.
And thank you, parents. We will see you in the next episode. Take care, everybody. Thank you, parents, for joining the show today. I hope it was valuable and that you have some useful tools to use with your children. If this show blessed you or changed you in any way, I would appreciate a review on my podcast, or subscribe to my YouTube channel, or perhaps you could even recommend our masterful parenting to your family and friends. Thank you so much, parents.